What is up guys, this is Winter's Tech Talk here. So this is the iPhone 6s. It is probably the most anticipated smartphone for 2015. Despite being heavily mocked by the Android community, the iPhone 6s still stir a lot of attention in the market. Even though the S model is just a refreshment of the original iPhone 6, Apple still makes sure the iPhone 6s can stand up against the competing Android devices. Upon the first impression, the iPhone 6s is identical to the iPhone 6. It is almost impossible to tell it apart. The only difference is the S decal on the back and of course the new color choice, rose gold. Certainly, the aging appearance does in some way falling short among the competing Android devices, but appearance is very judgmental. But when it comes to software and hardware, Apple made no compromises. Hardware-wise, iPhone 6s comes with Apple's own 64-bit A9 dual-core processor. According to Apple, the new processor will have 70% improvement in processing power, and the new PowerVR GPU will have 90% improvement over its past generation. The A9 processor can handle your typical daily tasks with ease and run the newest and processing-intensive games out there. I have absolutely no complaint about the processing speed of the A9. Everything flows smoothly as expected. In fact, I feel iPhone can operate more smoothly than Android phones I reviewed so far this year. Sure, it is just a dual-core, but the catch is that Apple has full control of the processor and the software. Therefore, Apple can fine-tune A9 processor and ISO 9 to work seamlessly together. However, it seems that there's a bit of snag on the quality of A9's performance. A9 is manufactured by both TSMC on the 16nm platform and Samsung's 14nm platform. It is logical to think that the 14nm should be faster and better, but the real-life tests prove otherwise. The testing so far showing that the TSMC's A9 processor performs a bit better on benchmarking scale, and the processor runs a bit cooler than the Samsung's A9. Although Apple claimed that the performance difference is about 3 to 5%, but it does feel a little bit unfair that you pay the same price for a slightly inferior processor. If the dual-core processor is outdated, then the 2GB of RAM will make you scratch iPhone 6s off your shopping list. But the iOS is actually less memory dependent than the Android. The 2GB of RAM can handle heavy multitasking pretty well. The reason being that Android need to run an extra application called garbage collection, where it recycles unused apps and free up the memory. Unfortunately, this app is memory hungry, therefore Android phones need big RAMs to accommodate both multitasking and the garbage collection application simultaneously. Software-wise, iPhone 6s is running the ISO 9. On the surface, it may look very similar to ISO 8, but once you dig inside, you can see Apple spend most of the effort fixing the problems, and even improving the shortcoming of the ISO 8. First of all, ISO 9 is a lot slimmer than the ISO 8. It only needs 1.3GB storage to install it, a significant difference than the ISO 8, which requires about 4GB. Downsizing just a start. There are many new features that made the ISO 9 the best yet. Let's start with Siri. Siri received a major update in terms of voice recognition. I do feel like Siri can recognize my voice much better since I tend to speak very fast. Other than voice recognition, you can now ask Siri to perform some more complicated tasks, such as remind me about this website when I get home. It pimps the website into a reminder app and automatically remind me about it when I got home. Siri will also collect some information about you, such as your favorite content and most used app, and display it in the Siri suggestion bar for quick access. Speaking of search with Siri, swipe to the left, you can bring out Spotlight Search. The Spotlight Search receives a major update and becomes more than just a simple search engine for stuff on the phone. You can use Spotlight Search for stuff on the App Store and the internet too. For example, when I search MLB, I can find related information on the internet and related apps on the App Store at the same time. Other than searching with words, the Spotlight Search also offers quick access icon for nearby. For example, if I tap the restaurant icon, or the restaurant close by my current location will show up on the Apple map. Simply select the one I want, then just follow the guidance to the destination. The heavily criticized Apple might also receive much needed improvement on the ISO 9. To start off, the map has a new function called Transit, where it can display entire public transit system of the city such as bus route, train, and subway. And when I, for example, tap on a particular subway station, the map will show me the lines of the station has and the live schedule of next arriving trains. But this feature will be only available inside the city as of now. Also, the nearby search function is finally included, and the Apple Map will also tell you if the place you select accepts Apple Pay. The other app that received major update is the Note. The older version of this app can only be used to written in text and nothing else. The new Note allows you to change text font, do hand drawing, and even add pictures. This makes it a lot more useful, and I believe this new app will be beneficial on iPad because of the bigger screen. If you are interested in brand new app, then the News app will definitely get your attention. This app allows you to subscribe to major media sources such as TV broadcasters, magazines, and newspapers. Also, under the category section, you can read articles related to the topic of your choice. The app will display all the newest information from the sources in the magazine-style layout with bold-up title to grab your attention. Not only that, the app supported videos and pictures from the publisher to further enhance your user experience. I really like this app. Not only is it very convenient to read news in one place, and it is one of those few apps where I cannot stop appreciating the beautiful layout. Moving the cursor around is not something easy to do on the older iOS. In the iOS 9, by pressing firmly on the QuickType keyboard, it becomes a trackpad where you can move the cursor around with ease, but the quick access to copy, cut, and paste can only be found on the iPads. The major feature that did not make it over to iPhone 6s version of iOS 9 is a split-screen multitasking. It is exclusive for the iPads only. Camera-wise, Apple decided to ditch the 8 big pixel and go back to a traditional tall small pixels. The photo from the 6s definitely retain more details than the 6. The camera performs very well in daylight. The picture looks much crispier than the 6 thanks to the new 12 megapixel sensor. There is no complaint about iPhone 6s camera performance in daylight and well-lit interior. The camera can produce good pictures whenever I hit the shutter button. However, the iPhone 6s low-light performance is not quite on par with the competitors. In this photo, the bigger aperture on the Note 5 able to lit the subject much better than the 6s. Also, the bigger aperture and optical image stabilization on the Note 5 allows the camera to use lower ISO and slower shutter speed, so the details of the green leaves are better kept by the Note 5, while iPhone 6s needs to sacrifice details with higher ISO to compensate for its smaller aperture and higher shutter speed to compensate for lack of optical image stabilization. The other new feature for the camera will be the live photo. When you turn on this new feature, the camera will record a 3 seconds video while you take the shot. It does make the picture much more interesting to look at, since you can relive that perfect moment at any time. Front camera received update as well. The megapixel count is increased to 5 megapixel, which is on par with many flagship phones. The Retina flash can definitely help out for selfies under low light environment. However, the lack of wide-angle lens does mean the iPhone 6s selfie can fall short of its competitors. The most exciting feature for the camera will be the 4K video recording. This is a welcome improvement since most Android phones has 4K video recording since 2013. The video quality is top-notch and can retain a lot of details when zooming in, but the real downside will be the footage will use up a lot of space, and you can only access 4K by going into the settings, then finding under photos and camera, which is quite inconvenient. The biggest new feature on the iPhone 6s is the 3D Force Touch. The phone can register the level of pressure put on the phone. The ability to sense the pressure allows Apple to introduce new way to use the phone. When you press firmly on the apps, you can open up a shortcut menu, but it will only work for Apple's own apps. For example, if I press firmly on the Safari icon, I can open up a shortcut menu to access the reading list, bookmarks, private tabs, and new tabs. At first, I thought this feature is a little gimmick. After I tried it out for the last 2 weeks, I find the shortcut menu is very useful, especially when you are on the go or using the phone with just one hand. Since the shortcuts are self-explanatory, I am not covering them for every app. The other feature can be used with 3D Touch is what Apple called Pick and Pop. So when you open an email app and press firmly on the mail, a small window will pop up to let you take a quick look at the content without you actually open it. This can sure save a lot of time for those who needs to send and reply lots of emails. You can do the same thing when someone sends you a link to a website from email or text message. Same idea for the address, you can preview it on the map without leaving the screen you are on. If you want a full access to the content during peeking, simply keep pressing and you will pop into it. With the new A9 processor, the iPhone 6s battery life is very satisfying. Despite having a smaller battery, the phone can last a whole day with my regular use. I usually can end up having around 60% left after a day. If I abuse the phone, then I can have around 30% left after the day. On the iOS 9, the iPhone 6s now has a low battery mode, which can stretch out the battery life for another 3 hours when the battery is at 20%. But it seems that the chip difference may play a role in battery life too. So far, the test shows that the battery life is very close, with only tiny difference. But the fact is, TSMC still outperforms Samsung in every single test conducted. If you are curious about which chip you have, you can install Lyrium InfoLit to find out. The A9 with codename N71MAP on 6S or N766MAP on 6 Plus are TSMC, while the chip codename N77AP on 6S and the N66AP on the 6S Plus are Samsung. Just to satisfy your curiosity, my 6S has the more desirable TSMC chip. The iPhone 6s, although it's just a refreshment, it does bring new things to the table, such as A9 processor, better camera, and much improved iOS. The new iOS 9 does improve upon the shortcoming of iOS 8, found its stability issue to new features, especially the 3D Force Touch, where you can have new ways to interact with the phone. Using it for the past few weeks doesn't really make me feel there's a difference with the Android system, but when it comes to third-party customization such as installing theme, keyboard, iOS is very limited. Sharing files on the iOS is also not very convenient. Methods such as Bluetooth and NFC are not an option. In fact, iPhone's NFC cannot be used other than Apple Pay, and Bluetooth can only be used for pairing devices. Not even to mention syncing music, photos, and video require iTunes, and mirroring the device to a TV requires Apple TV or a computer running third-party program like Air Server. From Android users' perspective, iPhone 6s features are not something very new. Android phones has those specs years ahead of Apple. You can call Apple for copying Android, but if we take a step back, this kind of learning and adopting is not new in IT industry. For example, Apple was the first company to bring the concept of multi-touch screen phone to the market. We can technically call every smartphone copying Apple. The popular 2-in-1 device was already invented by Compaq back in 2002, but the concept was made popular by ASUS much later. We can too call the company who made the 2-in-1 device copying Compaq. I believe people are just being biased toward Apple and forget that learning and adopting exists in non-Apple products as well. If Apple does not change or adopt, it will be phased out of the market sooner or later. What do you think of the iPhone 6s? Do you think Apple updated iOS and phone hardware enough to attract Android users and retain the current Apple users from switching to Android? Leave your comments down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. If you really like my video, please hit the like and subscribe button.